Hey, everybody, it's Heather Campbell, and welcome to Curveball. Okay, listen, I cannot wait for you to meet today's guests because what do you do when your body decides to rewrite the script of your life, like literally mid act? This wonderful woman, Ronni Morgan, was doing what she loved, cutting hair and living her life, when everything came to a screeching halt. Out of nowhere, her hip came out, like during a hair appointment, like her hip just gave out, sending her on a life changing journey she never saw coming. She was diagnosed with hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome. Did I get that right?
You sure?
Ronni had to navigate not one, but two hip replacements by age 31, craniocervical instability that landed her in the hospital for 16 days, and the ongoing challenges of chronic pain and disability. And I'm just like, oh, that's just a tough hand to be dealt. For Ronni, this wasn't about losing her career as a hairstylist. It was about losing a piece of her identity. But through all of this, she found a way to rebuild her life and redefine success on her own terms. Along the way, she's learned the power of grieving who you once were, the importance of choosing joy, even in the hardest times, and how to create purpose from unexpected circumstances. She has also like watched every single episode of Schitt's Creek. We had a complete conversation about it. I can validate she's very knowledgeable. Ronni, welcome to Curveball. Thank you
Thank
for
you
saying
so
yes.
much. Thank you.
So,
I'm really excited to be here.
so take me back to that moment in your salon when you realized, like, oh, there's something wrong. Like, what was that like for you, like emotionally, but and physically? Because you got like the double whammy.
Yeah, it was really I don't think I'll ever forget that moment because it was so odd.
Mm,
It was so out of the ordinary for me. And I guess true to form, one of the things I remember most about that moment is thinking, I don't want anybody to know this is happening. And that stood out to me so prevalently later on. I was
mm.
having this emergency, but I was like, nope, I don't want anybody to know. I'm going to play this off. I'm just going to put all my weight on my other leg. I'm going to hope that it passes. I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure I can finish this haircut and not alert my client that anything is wrong. No idea in the world that everything was about to it was a slow spiral, but it was a spiral nonetheless.
Right. So, what does it feel like when one's decides to give out on you? Like, what happens physically?
The best way that I've ever figured out how to describe it is that it felt like somebody took out my hip joint and replaced it with a wet sponge. Like it was like all of a sudden
Oh,
I was like rubbery.
oh my gosh. And
Yeah, it was really
pain,
weird.
I would imagine too.
Honestly, the pain didn't set in for about a day after that happened. It was more of a tingly, weird, just mushy sensation.
You knew
Really
something
weird.
like this is something serious is going on.
I I'm not one to panic to where I'll immediately be like, it's not like I was on the floor with a heart attack. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
it
sure.
was like I so in the moment I was like, well, this is weird, but I had never had anything really serious on set like that happen before, so I didn't have anything to
Right.
compare it to. And it was really just like is this a fluke? Or like, because I was a runner back then. And so I thought,
Mm,
maybe I don't remember if I had run that morning or not, but I was like, maybe I'm just having a weird like runners thing happening. I don't know. And then as quick as it came on, it stopped. The whole thing lasted maybe 5 minutes,
mm.
that first episode, and I was just like, okay, that was really bizarre, but thank God that's over.
Right. So you said something really interesting that one of the first feelings was, I don't want anyone to know this. So I want to unpack that. Like, as you said, you've reflected on that. And they actually, I just think, believe me, I have interviewed so many women on this podcast. So I don't know if it's like being a woman in America kind of thing to not let anyone know, but it is such a prevalent feeling like I got to keep this together. Like, why, like, tell me. And that, like you said, it was so potent, powerful that you had to sit, like, you've reflected on it often. So tell me, like, why do you think you felt that, number one? And then how do you feel about it now, having reflected on it?
I think there is It's funny because as a Leo, it's never bothered me to be in the spotlight, right? Like
I'm also a Leo. When is your birthday?
August 21st.
Oh my God. Oh, you're right on the edge. August 3rd. Yay,
Oh,
Leo
nice.
power. Yeah. I
Yeah,
understand
I'm
why
a
you're
bit
in
of a
hair
cusper.
because I'm always like, this is a Leo. This is my main. Like, I take
Yes.
it very seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think in that moment, it's like I wanna have attention the way I want it. And
Oh,
so that was not, and it's funny because it almost ties in the same as me coming out, like, of the proverbial closet.
mm,
I didn't come out till I was 29. I didn't wanna be different in that way. I didn't wanna be in the spotlight in that way. And it was the same thing with this medical emergency I was having. It was like, I don't want this to give me attention. I don't want people
right.
it was I think it's so common for us to not wanna burden other people, especially
Right.
as women. I'm like, "Let me handle this quietly. I got this. I can manage it
Right.
myself." And that feeling of, "I've got this, I can handle this myself," lasted for years. Like, this wasn't something that I would that just, like it was my very close inner circle knew that I was struggling following that incident
Right.
because it just
Yes.
progressively got worse and worse. But for the most part, most people didn't know because I didn't want to. I was like, this can't be something. Like, this can't be something. I don't have this happen to me. Like, there was a
Right.
little bit of a
Right.
pride thing, I think, also going on.
Yes.
So it
That
was really
is
multifaceted.
right. Like, did you ever feel like I know like when I had my own health issue that there was a version of me, I think even as recently as a few years ago, who would have told no one and then would have been just unbelievably disappointed that people didn't notice that I was going through something serious. Did you ever feel
Mhm.
that way? Like this sort of, and even though I didn't tell them, like I would, no one, how would people ever possibly know? And so sometimes I just often wonder, like, why, like, I don't know what that feeling, I know what that feeling is to want to manage something or not let people know,
Mhm.
but also like to not be a burden. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Cause sometimes it's like, because like I have an interesting story too. So people want to hear it. Sometimes I'm just like, oh God, I'm getting really good at telling this story. Like I have my pauses, my jokes, and everything. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
which is great. But also sometimes I'm like, oh, I was with my poor sister in Costa Rica, and I'm like, she is just like, I'm like, I'm so sorry. Someone asked me the story. And she's like, it's okay. I get it. I'm like, you could probably tell it by now. Okay. So you ended up having to have, wait, it was called, wait, I have to go back up to my notes. Da, Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome. So what is that? Something that causes your hips to deteriorate, your joints? Because you have to have a double hip replacement.
I did. So here's the thing. I didn't find out about having hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is we can just call it EDS is what I
Okay,
shorten it. Yeah,
thank
EDS
you,
is
thank you.
PEDS also HEDS is also fine. I
Okay.
didn't find out I didn't get that diagnosis until well after my hip surgeries.
Oh,
So I
interesting.
spent 5 years hobbling around on deteriorating hip joints and nobody could help me. Nobody knew what was going on. I had one scan done and they were like, "Well, this doesn't seem like anything's wrong." They thought, "Oh, maybe she has rheumatoid arthritis." And the rheumatologist was like, "Your number is borderline." So I was not getting answers. And that's part
Oh,
of why
right.
I wasn't talking about it a lot because I felt like and then I was getting into, life coaching and, going down that path, and I felt like,
Hmm.
maybe this is, some kind of deep internal trauma that I'm carrying around, and I need to
Right.
unpack it. Like, all that,
Yes, of
kind of
course.
toxic.
Yes. Well, they say the hips are the junk drawer of the emotions.
Right, right.
Yes,
So I'm
totally.
thinking,
So
maybe I
it
can fix this.
tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So there was a lot, but eventually, so I had my hips replaced. They couldn't tell me why. Why did they deteriorate? We don't know. There was no rhyme or reason.
Right.
And it wasn't until I landed in the hospital for 16 days at the beginning of 2020. And they couldn't figure out why I was in so much pain and what was happening. Nothing they were using to treat me was working.
Mm,
And then my doctor, who I absolutely adore him, he has been my doctor since I was a kid. and he's very dedicated. So he was doing his own research outside
I
of
love
work.
that.
Yeah, which is really rare. I've gotten
Who is
very
it? What's his
lucky.
name? Doctor.
Dr. Stephen Moybrook, Fort Wayne, Indiana,
Oh, Doctor
PCP.
Moybrook. Yeah.
Love that guy.
Oh,
So
I love a good doctor, a curious doctor.
yeah, and he one day while I was in the hospital, he came in to do his rounds and he was like, "Have you ever heard of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome?" And I was like, "No, I have not." And he was like, "Go ahead and do some reading on it tonight, and when I come back for my rounds tomorrow, we'll talk about it further." And I was like, okay, that's fine."
Wow.
So that night, my mom had come to the hospital like she did every night to be with me. And we were sitting there both doing reading about it. And I was like, there's some stuff that really tracks here, but like some other stuff, I'm not sure. Like, I've never thought about it. I don't know. And it wasn't, but it really was like a could be like, this is weird. I don't know. And so he sent a referral down to a geneticist in Indianapolis, and I again got really lucky because she's one of the most renowned doctors for EDS.
Amazing. Oh
Yeah,
my,
and she had just opened a practice in Indianapolis, like from out of state.
what?
Like just
Amazing.
had yeah, like within the year had done that. It took me about a year to get in with her. Her wait list was very long,
Oh
but when I finally did the testing that they do, I mean, I was at that appointment for at least 3 hours.
my,
And not because I was waiting around hoping that someone would come get me from the waiting room, but because that's how much testing they were doing at the appointment.
wow, that's
So,
amazing.
yeah, so, they had it's essentially Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is a connective tissue disorder.
Okay.
And so how I like to describe it in its simplest terms is that my body creates faulty collagen. So every connective
Mm,
tissue in my entire body is weak and doesn't fully do the job it's supposed to do. And our bodies are loaded with connective tissue. Like nothing in your body is unimpacted by connective tissues.
right. Right.
So it impacts everybody differently. Some people have, and there are like 13 varieties of EDS. I have the hypermobile variety, which is one of the more common of it. Vascular EDS is really dangerous. Life expectancy isn't super old. I'm very grateful that I don't deal with that.
Wow. Right.
So I think in some ways, if I was going to have EDS, I'm glad that I ended up with the type that I have. Like
Right.
as
Right. I mean,
bizarre
if
as
you
it
have
is to
to
have to say
choose,
that.
oh, is that okay? Was
Yes,
that
just a
your,
stuff.
okay.
It was a cart under my desk.
Okay.
It's empty.
Now that you had a double hip replacement, like, are you like, how are you doing now?
Yeah, so after my hip replacements, before I knew about my genetic disorder, I had hoped that everything would just go back to normal for me and I could just move on with my life, and that's not what happened.
Mm,
My hips are doing really well. My surgeon did a phenomenal job, and I always know when the weather's going haywire.
right. Yes.
Like occasionally they'll still like lock up a tiny bit or I'll have pain there, but mostly they've been perfect. The biggest issue that I have that I deal with day to day now is the craniocervical instability. And that was something that I finally got diagnosed with by my geneticist after I got diagnosed with EDS.
Wow. So
So,
what is that exactly? I think cranial, neck, cervical, right? Head, neck.
yep. So I
Just
have a lot of like again, connective tissues are very weak, very lax. So it's
mm,
created like because I hyperextend essentially, I basically just say like my head is too heavy for my neck and my neck is too weak to support normal day-to-day just being
right.
upright.
Oh my gosh. So do
So
you wear a do you wear a neck brace then?
I do.
Okay.
Not every day. I used to, when I was first going through this and they realized what was happening, I had a special scan and they finally found it after probably close to 2 years of pain and flare ups
Oh
and
my
being
gosh.
bedridden.
Right.
And we did finally find a medication that works for the pain. So if I start to have a flare up now, I'll wear my neck brace. If I've been like, I just got married a couple of weeks ago and the wedding weekend was like super crazy hectic, right? And just
Right.
we did everything ourselves. So like I was doing a lot. And after we
Right.
got home, I started going into a flare up, which I expected. And I was wearing my neck brace to help get me through that.
Mm.
but it's really annoying to wear it, so I try not to wear it as much as possible. I did bedazzle it though, I get lots of compliments when I wear
Oh,
it.
I bet. Yeah. Well, because I bet it helps. And then you mentioned that a big part of, and I'm just so sorry that you have chronic pain. Like, I was at this retreat and I met this woman who, like, her just average day is like a 7 out of 10 on a
Mhm.
pain scale. And I'm just like, I'm just so sorry for anyone who has to go through that because because you said there was like something around grief, but also acceptance, like grieving who I was before this and then acceptance. So I'm just so curious how that changes your relationship with pain. Does it make it better? Like, does an improved relationship with pain? I just don't tell me about the grieving and the acceptance of that.
It is a process that is constant, and
Mm.
I think for a long time, I tend to intellectualize my feelings rather than let myself feel them,
Says
and
the
it's
woman who didn't want anyone to know that this was going on.
yeah.
Oh, yes. That's great.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I that's something that I've worked a lot with my therapist around over the last, like, 7 years of just, like,
Mm.
really allowing myself to feel the grief and not just intellectualize it, not just think like, "Oh, but it could be so much worse," because we do that to ourselves all the
Right.
time. It's not helpful for anybody. It's
No,
not a
because
pie.
it's all relative.
Yes, like, absolutely, and so it's really I go through the stages of grief all the time. Like it's not like a roller coaster like it used to be, but if I'm in a prolonged period of pain, like a flare up cuz and when I say that, I mean anything that goes above my daily level of pain. So my day to day, I'm usually at about a 3, 4. If I
Mm.
get up to anywhere above that is where I start to call it a flare up. And
Right.
we were trying to wean me a little bit down from my Lyrica, which is the med that I'm on that controls my
Oh, okay.
pain.
Right.
We were trying to wean me down just to see what would happen, and it didn't go well. It was like it was okay at first, and then the longer I was off of it, the harder it got, and the more I was in flare-ups almost every single day.
Oh,
And when I realized I think I was proud of myself because I realized in that moment that I needed to increase my dose again, and I didn't spiral out about it. Like, it was like, "You know what?
right.
I'm I remember the time before this medication came into my life, and I was on all these different meds trying to treat it. They had me on high dose steroids for like a year, and it just ruined my body. Like, it was horrible. I didn't even look
Right.
like myself. Like, and I'm not there anymore. So at least I could
Right.
just increase this dose back and get back on my feet again."
There is something about society that I get this. It's like there is a feeling like we sometimes need to be heroic. And I
Mhm.
remember just thinking like if there is a tool or an implement that can help me or make my life easier, thank God for that tool or implement. So I love that you did this, you tried because I also get like just wanting to be medication free. But people, I think I'm like grateful. I'm like, thank goodness for the Lyrica.
Yeah, and that's really like I feel that way about every type of disability that I have because I'm also dealing with mental health stuff all the time that's totally unrelated to my EDS, and it took me a long time to find the right balance of medications. I never wanted to
Hmm.
be on as many medications as I'm on now, but, like, they help
Right.
me function, and
Yeah.
I'm in this stage of life where and no, everything's never gonna be perfect, but I'm happy, and I have all these various things going for me that if I didn't have all these medications, I wouldn't have going for me.
Right.
So, I'm okay with it. I'm just like I'm okay with having an electric wheelchair I use if I'm gonna be out for a long time and I need that, or
Right.
my crutches, or, like, any kind of, like, mobility aid that I need, my neck
Right.
brace. Like, I'm thankful that I have those for when I need them. I'm equally as grateful, if not more grateful, for the medications that I'm on. There's a lot of stigma, I think, around being on medications, and
I
that
know.
is
And people I
really
don't think
unfortunate.
and people who don't understand, like
Mhm.
I just think people who don't understand. But that's what I mean like this societal narrative like, "Oh, well, why can't you just go vegan?" Like You're like,
I've tried
"Shut
that.
up." You know what? I'd be like, "Shut the fuck up." How
Why don't
about
you just do
that? You
yoga
know?
every day for 10 hours?
Oh, yeah, I know. It's just like, "Oh, do you meditate?" It's like, "Yes, asshole, I do." Like, it's just yeah. So then you had to move. Okay, so talk to me about this because not only were you going through all these physical changes with your body, you had to legit give up the thing that you love doing. And then you transitioned, you said you were transitioning into life coaching. So what was that like?
So I did not mention this when we initially were getting to know each other. I actually found out that I needed my hips replaced when I was traveling indefinitely overseas. So when I knew I had to give up my job as a hairstylist, I
Right.
was going through a huge life changes. Like I was going through a really bad breakup.
Oh
Everything was
my
there
God.
was so much going on. And I just was like, you know what? I know that I can't keep doing hair the way that I'm doing it because my body is screaming at me to stop.
Right.
I felt like my life had gotten flipped upside down and I didn't recognize it anymore. And I was ready. Being a hairstylist in many ways is like a gateway to life coaching, I think.
For sure. Yeah.
Like, so I got involved with a coach training program before as my career was winding down. So I knew I was like, you know what? In 2017, I went to Italy for about 10 days. That was my second trip over there, I think, second or third. No, it was my third. And was with a friend that was living over there. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I just want to travel. Like, I want to do the nomad thing. Like, that's what I'm gonna
Yeah.
do. So I came home and I paid off a bunch of debt and I worked until December of 2017 and I had a one-way ticket to Italy, sold all my shit, and I left.
Oh my
And
God. Yeah.
my girlfriend at the time was like, "Are you sure you shouldn't get your hips checked out one more time before you leave?" And I was like, "Nah, it's fine. It'll be fine. We're
Right.
good."
Yes.
So I left and I was in Italy for a while and then I decided to haul it over to Croatia and I was doing a program called Workaway, which is a website that you can get connected with people all over the world and you basically like do some kind of work for them in exchange for room and board.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah, it was a really neat way. I met a lot of cool people that way, did some cool stuff. But I ended up through a series of universal moments of just like how can this be happening right now, this is insane.
Right.
But I ended up with this girl in Croatia who was in med school and one night she had a son and I was staying with them. He was really young. I was doing like food prep and grocery shopping and stuff for them. And one night she and I were sitting at the kitchen table drinking some rosé and talking and that we hadn't really had a chance to do that yet. I was there for about 2-3 weeks when this happened and she was like, she made it her mission, like opened up to her about my hip issues. And she made it her mission to help me. And we got the neighbor involved, and the neighbor made us an appointment with a orthopedic surgeon in Split, Croatia, is where I was at the time. And I went to see him and he sent me for x-rays. So I went the same day and got those done. Went back a week later to see him, and he was like, "Ronnie, I don't have good news," in his, like, heavy Slavic accent, like, deep
Right.
voice Slavic accent. He's like, "I don't have good news." And I'm like, "Cool." And so he told me, he's like, "You have to get," and at this time, he was telling me my left hip needed replaced. He didn't say anything about my right one because I didn't tell
Mhm.
him I was having issues with it because I didn't think I was. I didn't realize at one time I had been having issues with it, but the left one sort of went nuts and the right one kind of didn't. So finding out that I needed a joint replaced when I was 30 was really wild. Didn't see that one coming.
Right.
And
Well, especially because you seem to have been like, you're making it happen, like you're living with it, but then getting to the point that you're like, no, like it's unavoidable. There's just no way around it anymore.
well, he made the comment that he was like, "I don't understand how you're still walking." He's like, "I don't," and the thing was like, I was so used to the pain, and I mean, I was in like a high level of pain every day, and If I had
Oh,
been
Ronnie.
walking for, like, a long time, which you do when you're in Europe, you walk a lot,
Yeah.
and then
Like,
I
I can't
sat
imagine, like,
down.
just the staircases alone.
Oh, yeah, like, it was like, "Okay, if I just keep moving, I'll be fine," but when I
Right.
stopped and then had to start again, it was like my hip was like, "What am I supposed to do? What are
Oh,
we supposed to be doing?"
yes.
So, he was like, "You need to go home and get this dealt with." He was asking about my travel plans and all of that, and I was like, "Well, I'm supposed to be going to Spain for a few weeks. I have a friend there." He was like, "You need to go home and deal with this." And I was like, "I will. I'm gonna do that. But
Right.
I'm gonna go to Spain first because I'm already this far."
Because and I'm still young, yeah.
Right? Like,
Yes.
so I did go to Spain and I ended up acquiring my first set of crutches while I was there, the kind that go
Mm,
around like your forearm basically.
yes.
So that's the kind of crutches they use over there. So that's what my friend and I found because it got bad. I mean, it got
Right.
real bad.
Yeah.
I really was like about to not be able to walk.
Oh
Yeah, so I went to Spain and did a traveling about there for about 3 weeks, went to Germany for a week, and then went home.
oh my gosh, you naughty,
I
naughty.
know, I was like, "But I'm already so close to these places," like.
Yeah, I know, I could see that. So then so then you get home and then how long until you have your like, is it something like you get home and then like 2 weeks later you're getting your hips replaced?
No, I got home, I was staying with my girlfriend in Indianapolis, and I got home in April of 2018, and I had to get insurance first and foremost. So I
Mm,
started working on that immediately. And then I once I had the insurance approved, I made an appointment with my PCP in Fort Wayne, which is where I'm from. And so I ended up going, and my mom was still living in Fort Wayne. So it wasn't until July that I had my first
oh,
appointment with my doctor, who then had to refer me to the orthopedic surgeon. So I had an appointment
right,
with
of
him about
course, yes.
2 weeks later or so. And he took a look at my x-rays from Croatia, and then he took his own x-rays, and he came in and he was like, "So are you ready to get these replaced or what?" And I was like, "What do you mean these?
Yeah.
What do you mean this?"
Oh, right. It's like
And
peeling
he's
an
like,
onion. Yes.
"Yeah." He's like, "No, you need both your hips replaced."
Oh my
And
gosh.
that was a huge slap in the face. I'm like, "What are you saying right now, doc? Like, come on,
Right.
man." And so we sat down and looked at everything. He showed me. He was like, "Your right hip is following the exact same trajectory as your left one, but he's like, you probably can't tell how bad the pain is on that one because your left one hurts so
Right.
excruciatingly bad." So we scheduled surgery for the like second week of August.
And you
My
get them
dad and I
both
took
done at the
off.
same time? Like you're just like, I just got it. That's just
No,
you have to do one
no.
at a time?
Yeah, my surgeon does not like doing them at the same time because it makes the recovery like hellacious to do them at the same
Right.
time. So I did one at the beginning of August, and then the second one was October 31st, so about 12 weeks
Oh my
later.
goodness
Yeah.
gracious.
So it was like right when I was turning a big
Right.
corner with my first one in recovery, I had to go do it all over again.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're a life coach now. So I don't want to go from like 2018 to 2025, but I always find it so interesting when people are in the business of helping people and then they've had their own extraordinary challenges themselves. So like how does your experience show up in your business now? Like what kind of things like do you want to make sure like your people know
Mhm.
that how has your experience I guess informed your business today and who you are?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, I am not a life coach now.
Oh, okay.
I went through coach training and I had clients and I was doing the whole thing, but I was realizing that the things that entertained me the most were like the nerdy side of like setting up the back end of businesses and like but my coaching comes in all the time, my coach training
Oh, yeah.
all the time. And I
Yeah.
work with coaches primarily. Coaches, therapists are some of my biggest clients. But to answer your question, it still comes into play heavy because a lot of my clients are neurodivergent. They are
Yes.
dealing with chronic health issues. I think we tend to attract our flock, right? Like birds of
Oh,
a feather
yes.
kind of a
Yeah.
thing. So
Right.
it really and I have clients that are neither of those things, but a lot of my clients are. And it informs a lot of what I do because I have to I have a level of understanding that a lot of people don't have when it comes to the journey. Because not everybody that comes to me and needs help with the back end of their business is as far along in their journey as I am.
Right.
And that makes a really big difference. But it's like having somebody I think I essentially am what I wish I had when I was setting up my coaching business.
Right.
That it's like there are so many ways to help, and I wanted to create the thing that didn't exist. So that's what I did.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, and so I like to work with newer business owners or people,
Yeah.
honestly, people that are just like pivoting. Like maybe they've been in
Right.
business for quite a while, but now they're pivoting to something new. And it's like it can be so overwhelming.
Right. I do know that tech because I work with new entrepreneurs too. And I'm just
Mhm.
like, there are people who are like, I'm just a yoga teacher from Madison, Wisconsin. And I just want to like teach women how to
Yeah.
like keep their bones healthy during menopause. And now I have to become like a graphic designer, a consumer, a back end tech expert, and a website designer. And I'm just like, when people, I give people so much credit for figuring all of that out too. But yeah, the wheels fall off for so many entrepreneurs
Mhm.
around the technology
It just
for
they
sure.
deal
Yeah.
with a big mess because they have no idea, and the learning curve is steep. So I'm like, if you're listening to
Oh,
this
yeah.
and we're like describing you right now, like just know you're not alone.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
not alone. And that's really where like one of the programs that I have offered in the past is called the Overwhelm Eliminator
Oh,
because
I love that.
like I want to come in and I want to help you understand that not only does this not have to like own you, like you can own it,
Yes.
that it's like we can I can help you prioritize. I can help you figure out what you needed when you need it. I literally have these
Right.
conversations with business owners every day that it's like people are like, I don't know whether to do this first or that first, or do I do them at the same time? I can't afford to do them at the same time. Like, what are we?
Right.
So it's like I'm able to come in and help break that down for people into easily digestible pieces. And for my clients that are neurodivergent or dealing with chronic health issues, that's imperative. It's
Right.
imperative because they can't afford to hire somebody to do it all for them. They want to be hands on as much as possible.
Right. Well,
But
and
it's
I think
like,
it's important too that people understand like that you have to have content because I have a done with you, done for you program too.
mhm,
And I'm like, you must understand the mechanics of your own brand and your own marketing. Even if you are like, I do have money to like have
mhm,
people do it, you
yep.
have to understand how it works yourself. Otherwise, oh my gosh, because there are some people out there who can you can really pay people a lot of money and they don't do a lot of stuff for
You
you.
just get taken advantage of. Well, and
Oh,
especially in the marketing
completely.
space, that happens
I
all the
remember this
time.
person was telling me they were paying this person, and I'm like, well, let me see one of their marketing reports. And they're like, I don't get a marketing report. I was like,
Oh, no.
oh my God. Yeah,
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, just there, yeah. So it's like you have to, oh my gosh, you feel such a so what kind of people so I also work with a lot of neurodivergent people. And so
mhm,
she'll hear me like my motto is you have to finish what we've started. And then your reward is the next idea you have. Like that's your
yeah,
treat to yourself
yeah, I
because
like that.
otherwise you get when you have your own business, you're just like, oh my gosh. And then you're on to something good. Like it's like, oh, I could do this. And then I could do this, and I could do this, and I could do this. They're
Yep,
like, I want to do it all. And you're like, no, one thing at a time. Like
mhm,
that's how it works. So I'm glad that you're validating that. I have another expert, everybody, if my students are listening to this. So it's not
yep,
just
it's
me.
true.
What
Oh.
is your favorite part of like, what's your most rewarding part of working with people like that and helping them set that up?
I think it's honestly the sigh of relief. And
Mm,
it can honestly and that sigh of relief can come at many different stages of our work together. And that initial sigh of relief when they realize that things are about to get so much easier is like, yes, like, "You
Yes,
can
yes.
breathe. We've got this," right? Like, and of
Oh,
course
I
it's like
love that description. Yes.
it's very and of course it's you have that moment and I really like to, like, enjoy that moment, and then it's also like, "Okay, now it's time to get to work because we have work to do."
Yes.
And
Yeah.
but to be able to break it down into digestible pieces for people and to help guide them and hold their hand through that as much as they need, which a lot of people need a lot
Right.
of hand holding, and that's okay. But it really is very it's just when I have people come back and they're like, I never would have been able to finish this on my own, and thank you for seeing me and for working
Right.
with me in ways that make sense to me and not trying to fit me into, like, a mold. It's like, "You're welcome." Like, of course. Like, I'm so happy to be able to be that for you, and I'm happy to do it again if you need me again in the future. It's just I find that to be incredibly rewarding. Yeah. Yeah.
That I can tell. Well, and you just seem like one of those people that is just calm under pressure.
Mhm.
Like, I just feel like you would be a very steady, you just have super steady energy and also very accepting. So I feel like I could really come to you, maybe even crying sometimes, and you would just be like, it's okay. Like, we got this. Like, I
Yeah.
love that. I love it when people can come in, they get context, but then they know how to get things done in a very effective, but also humane and in a very humane and ICU kind of way.
Well, and we have to meet people where they are. If I
Yeah.
and you can ask like any of my longtime clients that have worked with me through so many seasons of their own life that it's like you may get on a call and we're supposed to be talking about your website, but like you really need to talk about the fact that your marriage is in turmoil right now.
Oh, yeah.
And so like boop, out comes my coaching hat, right? Like
Right.
and so I'm really glad that I have that experience and that education under my belt because I can't help you through what we're supposed to be working on together if you are preoccupied with
Right.
other things going on. And if we need to talk about it, then let's talk about it.
I think that's so brilliant because you can't really create from a place when you're feeling angsty. Like, one of
Mhm.
the things that I learned and one of my big goals was like, how do I keep things like low and slow, and how do I really move in alignment, right? Which sounds amazing, but like, what is that really?
Mhm.
And so and it's not always like a comfortable place to be too, like when you're slowing down and trying to figure things out. But one of the things that I have really realized is when you like, there's an inclination sometimes, like, because I'm a creative. So sometimes, like, I throw my line out into the water. I'm waiting for that inspiration to come on the other side.
Mhm.
And because I know what it feels like when I have a good idea, but I'm waiting for that inspiration to come on the other side. And then so many times I would try to force it, like, as opposed to waiting for it to come. And the beautiful thing, so that's what I did is I decided I'm not going to force anything.
Mhm.
And so I think when people are in that state and they're not feeling excited, they have this other really like real thing, like maybe they are having problems in their marriage, right? Like, in order to work through that, to get to a place where you can create, so then you're not forcing your way through it, because
Mhm.
it's just never going to be the same if it's forced through. And that's the reward, I think, is waiting when you do receive, like, okay, it's go time. That's like, I realize that is the reward to waiting. And so
Yeah.
many times I've tried to make things happen, and I'm just like, so anyways, I'm just saying, through a very long story, like,
No, it's
I think
great.
that's super cool that you're there, because you want people to be in that place of like ingenuity, and it's not that's not something you can just turn on and off.
Right, and that's the thing, like, I work with a lot of creatives, so it's very I'm, like, being one myself,
Yes,
I get
yes.
it, like, it's like and sometimes projects take longer than we initially talk about because there's, like whether it's life happens or they just, like, go off on a tangent, and I'm like, "Whoop,
Right.
we gotta reel this back in for a minute, like, come on."
Yeah.
You know, like but being able to be that person for people that are in a stage that's really important in their business is just it's great. Like I love it. I love what I do.
Well, yeah, and I like to work with people early on too, because I'm like, oh my gosh, get everything set up right from the
Mhm.
start.
Yeah.
You're going to save yourself so much time, like just spinning your wheels or just
Mhm.
work. Like I just met this woman, like I had like I do these headshot photo shoots every week, every month. And I met this other woman who was there. I'm getting headshots taken. And this woman's like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to figure out my marketing all by myself. And she's like, and she and her husband have this, like, she's like this really amazing woman, but she's like I'm up until like 2 a.m. and then she has two little kids. So then she has to get up at 7 a.m. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I just know that there are some ways to simplify that
Right.
where you're not just at grinding, because that
Mhm.
the grind can be energizing. Like you can definitely get stuff done, but it's just not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. No.
No,
And it's
no,
so
you will
easy,
crack and break. Yeah.
yeah, and other things fall to the wayside and you don't have the bandwidth for everything because and that's I tell people all the
Right.
time that I'm like, one of the things that I've been talking a lot about on my social media this week actually is I think a lot of people think hiring help is not attainable because they don't have a lot of money coming in yet. And it's like
Mhm.
not staying in your zone of genius is not sustainable. I
Yes.
agree that you absolutely need to have some level of knowledge of how all these different things on the back end of your business work, right? But
Right.
it's like you started this because you're a yoga teacher and you want to help people and you're doing this. So
Right.
it's like if you're not in your zone of genius, you're going to burn out so fast, so
Right.
incredibly fast. So it's like there are ways to get help that aren't going to break your bank, that are going to be an investment in the future of your business. And that's a mindset shift that has to happen. And that can be really difficult. And I know my business was a grassroots effort. I was on a shoestring budget. I get it. But
Yes.
I
But
couldn't do
there
it all
are
myself.
so many amazing so part of my comeback, 'cause I had to shut down my business for about 6 months last year, was like I said, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hire a virtual assistant, which has just been
Mhm.
amazing. And seriously, like I pay her like much more, but you can get virtual assistants from the Philippines for like $3 or $4 an hour. And they will do, so she manages. I was just in Costa Rica last week at a retreat. I could go. They challenged us to give up our phones. I gave up my phone because
Mm.
I knew I could trust her to handle everything. And then the second thing is I hired a podcast editor because
Yep.
I was like, I have no idea what to do. And again, I get to support two amazing women, one in the
Mhm.
Philippines, one in Greece. How cool is that? Like,
Nice.
yeah, but I mean, it's so affordable. And it's like, I remember just sitting there thinking, I will legit spend hours trying to edit these episodes. I don't even know what I'm
Mhm.
doing.
Right.
Like, and so why not? And of course, I took an online course, but I was like, no, for like a really affordable price, this person edits all my videos. She makes
Mhm.
the shorts I mean, it's amazing. Like,
Yep.
so there is so much help out there. So I absolutely agree with that too,
Yeah.
because if I had to, like, I used to post on my own social media, like just, all that stuff. Like, now I mean, I don't mind doing it, but it's like a lot of moving parts and pieces.
Mhm.
And I also have ADHD. So, like,
Yep.
I'm really good with the creative stuff. Like, if it's like the real details, it's like I can do it. It just takes a lot of effort. A
Yep.
lot of my brain power. I'm just like, oh, think,
Yeah.
think, 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 think. Yeah.
And it's like, if I
And I
don't
like to
have
be
to
in
be doing this,
flow.
why?
Yeah,
Like, why
exactly.
am I doing it if I don't have to?
Yes.
And there's somebody
And
else that
you
loves it.
literally change somebody's life because like
Mhm.
$3 or $4 in the Philippines per hour is like really good money in the Philippines.
Sure.
I don't know,
I
but
don't know
like
either, but that's what I've heard. I don't know
I've
if
heard that
yeah.
too. I pay more than that. I just want you to
Yeah.
know. Just
Well, but
FYI.
I
Like,
think the
yeah.
key is, like, whatever the person is telling you is a living wage for them in this sphere, you have to believe them. But it's like
Right.
and so if somebody's saying, like, "I can do all these things for you and it's X number," and you're like, "What? That is really inexpensive." But maybe you're not their only
Right.
client or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But regardless, it's like the help is out there.
Yes.
You don't have to do this alone.
No, you do not. No, and even one of the things too, because it's so funny, we're talking about overwhelm. Last week, all my content was running, and I put together like the anti-overwhelm starter kit, like the
Mhm.
4 places to really start. with your business. Wait, why was I going to tell you this? Oh yeah, one of the things is like I had no idea. Like when I decided, like I run a branding agency, so that's going fine, and then I decide, oh, I want to do like I want to work with entrepreneurs. I'm going to do something, have a course or a program or something like that. And I just joined these entrepreneurial communities. I had no idea communities like that even existed. Like,
Mhm.
and so then also being in one of those communities too, you're able to, like, there are people who have been there before you, and oftentimes they will share exactly how they do things too. So there is
Mhm.
a lot of help too. That's just part. And then it feels so nice to be part of a community too.
Yeah.
You have
That
really
cannot
good
be
friends.
understated, especially, like, I mean, I work from home, I'm by myself a lot, and
Same.
so my I have a huge online community that I've built over the last, like, 8 or 9 years,
Yeah.
and not only is it where the majority of my business comes from, but I have met so many people that have become a part of that, like, business support system.
Yeah.
And my business coach who I work with, we met through Facebook, through mutuals, and were in each other's sphere for years before we started working together.
Right.
And she's phenomenal. Shout out Laureen Malley. Love her.
Wow. You have I love the way that you meet these people, like this woman, like when the woman in Italy who was like,
Mhm.
I'm going to make it my mission. And then your Dr.
Yep.
Stephen in Indiana. That's amazing. Ronnie Morgan, you have been absolutely a delight. Like to be faced with so many interesting things and then just be on this other side, like so chill. You're really, I love your energy. Like you're just like,
You.
you're exactly the kind of person I want on my side when I feel like I'm really on the ledge and I
Mhm.
need someone to talk me off the ledge. So I may have to call you in the future. So if
Happy to
people
be
are
there.
like, who is this Ronnie Morgan? How do I get to know more about her? Like, how can they connect with you?
There are a myriad of ways that you can come find me. I am on Instagram as at Ronnie Morgan, and it's Ronni Morgan. There's no E. A lot of people want to slap an E on there. There's not.
No.
And then on Facebook, I have my personal page is under Veronica Ronnie Morgan. So you can find me there as my personal page, but I also have a Facebook group. Like if you are a business owner and you have tech issues, come find me and I'll help you get into my group. I do a lot of just free people ask questions and I'm happy to answer them.
I want to join that group.
Please, by all
Yeah.
means. And then I have a blog that I keep. If you had any moments during the time we were discussing my health journey, ronniemorgan.com is where I have documented that journey in blog
Mm,
form. And then I also have a section on there that I put like podcasts that I've been on and stuff like that where I talk more about stuff. So that's a great way to come find me. If you are interested in working with me, any of those outlets you can contact me through and we can talk about whether we might be a good fit. So, yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on Curveball and just thank you for sharing your story. I feel so inspired by
Thank
you
you so much for
today.
having
Thank
me. I've
you.
been like really looking forward to this podcast. So, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Oh, thank you so much, dear.
Yeah.